Hello students, now in this video let us see the Wilson's theorem. Wilson's theorem. Statement: if P is prime, then P minus 1 factorial congruent to minus 1 modulo P. This is a statement of Wilson's theorem. Let us see the proof of it. P will be prime, then P minus 1 factorial congruent to minus 1 modulo P. Now if P is equal to 2, then what does it? 2 minus 1 factorial, that will be 1 factorial. 1 factorial, what? It will be 1 factorial. That is equal to 1. Obviously, it will congruent to minus 1 modulo what? 2. Fine. Look at here. 1 gives remainder minus 1 modulo 2. Fine. Now, again, if P equal to 3, then what does it? It is 3 minus 1 factorial, that is what? 2 factorial. 2 factorial is how much? 2. That is obviously again congruent to what? Minus 1 modulo 3. Modulo 3. Thus, the result is true. Result is true for P is equal to 2 and P is equal to what? 3 also. Look at here, this one will be hold. You can verify it. 2 divides 1 minus of minus 1. That is what? 2 divides 2. This is true. Again, if you have a doubt, that's why I am giving this as an explanation. This also gives 3 divides what? 2 minus of minus 1. So that gives 3 divides what? 3. This is also true. So the result will be true for P is equal to 2 as well as P is equal to 3. This is for your understanding only. No need to write that one in a proof. Fine. Now result will be true for this. Now suppose P is greater equal 5. We will take the next one. Let A be any integer among the integers 1, 2, 3 and so on up to what? P minus 1. Okay. Then consider the congruence. Consider the congruence. Let us consider the congruence. Ax congruent to 1 modulo P. P is any one. P will be greater or equal 5. A be any one of these integers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So up to P minus 1. Then consider the congruence. Ax congruent to 1 modulo P. Now, as A and P, obviously, if any one of them will take, then it will be prime with this P. Look at here. If P is equal to 5, then what are the possibilities of A? 1 or 2, 3 or what? 4. Up to P minus 1 we have to take. So, this each one will be what? Relatively prime with what? This 5. So, here A, for those P and those A's are there, as P changes, A changes, and every time this one will what? Hold. The GCD is always what? 1. They are relatively prime. If they are relatively prime and this is the congruence, then it has a solution. From the previous theorem we have seen about the solution of this congruence. Fine. So, this gives Ax congruent to 1 modulo P have a unique solution. Have a unique solution modulo P. Now let that solution will be suppose A bar. Suppose that solution will be A bar. If A bar will be the solution of it, then obviously that A bar is any one of these. Okay. Here we should note that A bar is among the integers 1, 2, 3, so on up to what, obviously P minus 1. Okay, so you can verify that one as by take an example as P is equal to 5, then A is 1, 2, 3, 4 as such, then AX congruence to 1 modulo 5, P will be 5. What is A in that case? 1, 2, 3 and what? 4. Then if I take A is equal to 1, suppose A is equal to 1, then 1 congruence to whom? 1 congruence to 1 modulo 1 congruence 1 into X. 1 into what? X congruence to 1 modulo 5. For which one it will hold? It is obviously for X is equal to 1. If A is equal to 2, then 2 into X congruence to 1 modulo 5. Then obviously X is equal to what here? 3. Look at here, X will be 3, 6. 6 congruence to 1 modulo 5. Then if A is equal to 3, then what does it give? 3 into X congruence to 1 modulo 5. So what is X? X will be what? 2. Again A is equal to what? 4. Then it will be 4 into X congruence to 1 modulo 5. Then obviously here X is equal to what? 4 itself. 4 into 4, 16. 16 congruence to 1 modulo 5. As such. So this A bar will take a place of whom? X. Solution will be A bar. So A bar is at the place of X. So X is obviously any, or that A bar is obviously any one of these ones. Look at here. Just like this. Okay. Any one of these one. Thus A into A bar congruence to what? 1 modulo P. A into A bar congruence to 1 modulo P. Now if A equal to A bar, if they are same, then this will become A square congruence to 1 modulo P. This will give A square congruence to 1 modulo P. But if A square congruence to 1 modulo P, just we have seen a lemma, from that it will give either A congruence to 1 modulo P or A congruence to whom? Minus 1 modulo P. Modulo P. Fine. Now A congruence to 1 modulo P, A congruence to minus 1 modulo P. So A congruence to 1 modulo P means what? A is equal to what? 1. And A congruence to minus 1 modulo P means A is equal to what? P minus 1. This is obviously in this case. A will be what? P minus 1. Or A is equal to what? P minus 1. Thus this shows that if A is equal to 1 and P minus 1, then A bar is 1 and what? P minus 1. A bar is also what? 1 and P minus 1. Okay. Thus if A is between 2 and P minus 2, in this case, in between these, look at here, 1 and P minus 1 it will be okay, but in between other for these between integers. Obviously before p minus 1 p minus 2 is there. So if a will be this one, then obviously there exists a bar. Yes, I have given example. For 2 a bar will be what? 3. For 3 a bar will be what? 2. Okay. So then there exist for 1 a bar will be 1 itself, for 4 a bar will be 4 itself, just like that. If a is equal to 1 a bar will be 1, if a is equal to p minus 1 a bar will be what? P minus 1. But in between them they differ. So there exists a bar with 2 less equal a bar less equal what? P minus 2, but not necessary in a same order, distinct from a. It is obviously distinct from whom? A. Distinct. It lies between these, but distinct from whom? A. Such that what? This equation a into a bar congruence to 1 modulo p will satisfy. Such that a into a bar congruence to what? 1 modulo p satisfies. Then let us group them, grouping together such a distinct let me write such only, such distinct a and a bar, we get what? Look at here, 2 into 3 into 4 and so on up to what? P minus 2 congruence to what? Obviously 1 modulo p, congruence to 1 modulo p. Okay, that is, what does this say? This is p minus 2 factorial congruence to 1 modulo p. Okay, this gives p minus 2 factorial into what? P minus 1 congruence to p minus 1 modulo p. Okay, that is same as this is p minus 1 factorial congruence to what? P minus 1 modulo p. But modulo p will be there, then p minus 1 congruence to minus 1 modulo p. But p minus 1 congruence to what? Minus 1 modulo p. Therefore, this, let me say it is equation 1. Therefore, equation 1 implies p minus 1 factorial congruence to minus 1 modulo p. This will be the proof here. This is an important theorem. This will be the proof of it. Here this 2 to p minus 2. So we have to combine them. We will group them. For each one this will hold congruence to 1 modulo p. Each one will congruence to 1 modulo p. So we will group them. That will what? Congruence to 1 modulo p. This part is what? P minus 2 factorial. So it will hold. Multiply both sides by p minus 1, will get this. But this is true. That's why this is also true. As such, we can prove this Wilson theorem. But the converse of this Wilson theorem is also true. Let us see that one. Let me write that as a remark. Means what? If for any integer n minus 1 factorial congruence to minus 1 modulo n will be there, then that n must be what? A prime number. That thing we will prove. So let us see that. Let us see that one. Let me write as a remark or a note, you can see. Converse of the Wilson's theorem is also we should write it complete, sorry, theorem is also what? True. Is also true. That is, if n minus 1 factorial congruence to minus 1 modulo n, then n must be what? Prime. N must be prime. Okay, so let us see the proof of it. Suppose by contradiction, n is not a prime. N is not a prime. Then there exists a proper divisor. Say D, such that D divides what? N, and D lies between what? 1 and n. Okay, as D is less equal n minus 1, so D appears one of the factor in n minus 1 factorial. So this gives D divides what? If D less equal n minus 1, then D will what? Any one of these among these D n minus 1 factorial. So this gives D divides what? N minus 1 factorial also. Call it as equation number 1. Now, since n minus 1 factorial congruence to what? Minus 1 modulo n. So this gives n divides n minus 1 factorial plus 1. Okay. So this will hold by the definition of congruence. Now, as D divides n and n divides this n minus 1 factorial plus 1. D divides n and D divides n and this n divides this one. Okay. Therefore, this implies first divide second, second divide third. So this gives D divides this n minus 1 factorial plus 1. Call it as equation number 2. Now look at here. D divides this one. D also divides this. So D must divide their addition, their subtraction and all. So by or from 1 and 2, we get D divides this n minus 1 factorial plus 1 minus n minus 1 factorial. So this gives D divides 1 and 1 less than D less than what? N, which is impossible. Why does? Because D lies between 1 and n and D divides 1, which is not possible. Fine. This gives n must be what? A prime. Why does this occur? Because we assume n is not a prime. N must be prime. Thus an integer, Wilson theorem you can write, an integer n is a prime if and only if n minus 1 n minus 1 factorial congruence to what? Minus 1 modulo n. This is true here. This is an important part here. This will be the proof of this theorem. Okay. Now next one, let us see a corollary for this. Corollary. Now, a quadratic convergence, a quadratic congruence, convergence by mistake I am saying, congruence, x square congruence to minus 1 modulo p, has a solution, if and only if either p is equal to 2 or p congruence to what? 1 modulo 4, where 1 modulo 1 4, where p is prime, where p is a prime number. Okay. Now for the quadratic convergence, either p is 2 or p congruence to 1 modulo 4, then and then it has a solution. That thing we will prove. It is a corollary of Wilson theorem. So now let us see the proof of it. Let me prove it. Both way implication again, if and only if is here. So if, let me assume p is equal to 2, then x square congruence to minus 1 modulo 2 have a solution. What does the solution? Obviously x is equal to what? 1. X will be 1, then and then this will hold. X will be 1, look at here, or you can find out that one. 2 divides what? X square plus 1. Now that is x square plus 1 is equal to 2 times some k. So for which x this will be true? Only for x is equal to what? 1. So here the solution for this one will be what? X is equal to 1. Okay. So for p is equal to 2 there is no problem. Now suppose p congruence to 1 modulo 4. Let me assume this part, okay. P congruence to 1 modulo 4 suppose, okay, has a solution. Has a p congruence to 1 modulo 4, then this has a solution. That is our aim or the claim. What? X square congruence to what? Minus 1 modulo p has a solution. That thing we have to prove. This thing. If this has a solution. That is our aim. Now consider this p minus 1 factorial. What is p minus 1 factorial? It is 1 into 2 into 3 and so on up to what? P minus 1. Okay. That can be written as 1 into 2 into 3 so on up to this p minus 1 upon 2 into p plus 1 upon 2 and so on up to what? P minus 1. In between, middle 2 halves I have taken. Okay, we know here p minus 1 congruence to what? Minus 1 modulo p. Okay, p minus 2 congruence to whom? Minus 2 modulo p. Okay, and so on up to what about p plus 1 by 2? This one congruence to whom? Minus of p minus 1 by 2 modulo p. Look at here, p minus 1 with this negative, p minus 2 with this negative, then obviously p plus 1 by 2 congruence to what? Minus of p minus 1 by 2 modulo p. Now let us collect these one, we will put up here. What does it give? Therefore p minus 1 factorial. How does this become? These one will remain as it is. Now the next half will be replaced by these. Okay. So here we get that is equal to what? 1 into 2 into 3, so on up to what? This p minus 1 by 2 as it is. This p plus 1 by 2 will be replaced by this. What does that? It is minus of p minus 1 by 2. Okay. Up to what? Here minus 2 and here minus 1. As such we will get. Obviously this will hold when modulo p will be there. Modulo p. Okay. Modulo p will be there. Now these all are negative. These are what? Positive. But the same parts. So let me write here, take minus 7 common. But how many times it will come? It will come p minus 1 by 2 times. So this can be written minus 1 raised to p minus 1 by 2 into the square of this part. Each one will be same but repeated twice. So product is this 1 into 2 into 3. So on up to what? This p minus 1 by 2. It's what? Square modulo p. So p minus 1 factorial we have been written as such. Now what does this? This is nothing but here this is, I can say, p minus 1 factorial congruence to whom? Minus 1 raised to p minus 1 by 2. And this part is a factorial one, but of which factorial? P minus 1 by 2 factorial. So this is p minus 1 by 2 factorials square modulo p. This one will be there. But by Wilson's theorem, what we get? We have p minus 1 factorial congruence to whom? Minus 1 modulo p. Minus 1 modulo p. So here we can replace. Therefore we get minus 1 congruence to whom? Minus 1 raised to p minus 1 by 2 into p minus 1 by 2 factorial its square modulo p. Okay. Now again this can be written as minus 1 raised to p minus 1 by 2 into p minus 1 by 2 factorial its square congruence to whom? Minus 1 modulo p. Why does this? A congruence to b modulo p, then b congruence to a modulo p. Fine. Now as this one we have been assumed, we haven't used it yet. So p congruence to 1 modulo 4. So what does this give? 4 divides p minus 1. That is p minus 1 is equal to what? 4k. For some k in z. This gives p minus 1 is equal to 4k for k belongs to what? Set of integer. Now p minus 1 is equal to 4k. So this is same as to say p minus 1 by 2 is equal to what? 2k. So this gives p minus 1 by 2 is a multiple of 2. So this is an even number. If it is an even number, this part will become 1. So this gives p minus 1 by 2 is even integer. Even integer. Okay. Therefore, what we get? Here this will become 1. So this part congruence to minus 1 modulo P. So we get P minus 1 by 2 factorial square congruence to minus 1 modulo P. What does this shows? This shows that this x square congruence to minus 1 modulo P has a solution, and that solution? That is nothing but P minus 1 by 2 factorial when P congruence to 1 modulo 4. So this shows that x square congruence to minus 1 modulo P has a solution. X is equal to what? This P minus 1 by 2 factorial, this one. Okay, now let us see the converse part. Conversely, suppose x square congruence to minus 1 modulo P has a solution. And let us say that solution will be what? A. If A will be that solution, then it gives a square congruence to what? Minus 1 modulo P. A square congruence to minus 1 modulo P. Call it as equation number 1. Now, here suppose P is not equal to 2, then our claim, what will be our claim? If P is not equal to 2, then P must be congruence to what? 1 modulo what? 4. This should hold. And if this should not hold, P must equal to what? 2. So this is our aim. We will assume P is not equal to 2. Now here we should note one thing. A square congruence to minus 1 modulo P, then A and P must be what? Relatively prime. This is the part of proof itself. Still the proof is going on. Direct part we have been proved. Now the converse part we are proving. Okay. Here we should note that A and P are what? Relatively prime. If this is, then by Fermat's theorem, what can we see? By Fermat's theorem, we get A raised to P minus 1 congruence to what? 1 modulo P. Call it as equation number 2. Here A square congruence to minus 1 modulo P. Here A raised to P minus 1 congruence to 1 modulo P. Now, as A square congruence to minus 1 modulo P, so from that I can say A square raised to P minus 1 by 2 congruence to minus 1 raised to P minus 1 by 2 modulo P. A congruence to B modulo P, then A raised to M congruence to B raised to M modulo P. The power will remain same. So this gives, this is what? A raised to P minus 1 congruence to minus 1 raised to P minus 1 by 2 modulo P. Okay. And that gives this part congruence to 1 from 2. Yes. So this is 1 congruence to what? Minus 1 raised to P minus 1 by 2 modulo P. Here P is what? Greater than 2. We have assumed P is not equal to 2. So it will be greater than 2. As P is what? A prime number. Fine. Which is this part. 1 congruence to this one. Or this one congruence to 1 modulo P. This is possible only when this P minus 1 by 2 is what? An even number. Which is possible only if this p minus 1 by 2 is what? Even. This is even. Okay, that is p minus 1 by 2 is what? 2 times some integer. K is an integer. Okay, that is p minus 1 is equal to what? 4k. That gives 4 divides p minus 1. That gives p congruence to what? 1 modulo 4. So we have assumed p not equal to 2. So we have improved p congruence to 1 modulo 4. So either p is equal to 2 or p congruence to 1 modulo 4. Then and then this one has a solution. This is about the proof of this corollary. Now let me take a small example on this corollary and then we will stop. In next video we will see the examples on these one. Okay, so a small example let me take. Example 17 congruence to 1 modulo 4. Is it true? Yes. When we divide 17 by 4, the remainder will be what? 1. So x square congruence to minus 1 modulo 17 has a solution. And what does the solution? Solution is again what? X will be 4. X what? 4. 4 square will be 16. 16 minus of minus 1 will be plus 1. So 17 divides 17. Has a solution. X is equal to 4. But x square congruence to minus 1 modulo 19 has no solution. Why does has no solution? Because now 19 is not 2 and 19 doesn't congruence to 1 modulo 4. Has no solution as 19 is not equal to 2, neither of this, and 19 doesn't congruent to 1 modulo 4. Look at here, be careful. Here what does the theorem says? X square congruence to 1 modulo, x square congruence to minus 1 modulo p has a solution if and only if either p is equal to what? 2 and another one p congruence to whom? 1 modulo 4. If any one of them will be true, then this has a solution. So here for p will be 19, then no one will be true, that's why it doesn't has a solution, while this one has a solution, and that is x is equal to 4 itself. This is about the corollary, Wilson theorem and all. Now if you have any doubt, you can ask me either on WhatsApp or in Google Classroom. Okay, so here we will stop. In next video we will see the examples on this. Thank you.